The following story I'm about to tell you is the best revenge post I have ever read in my entire life. Hands down, no questions. Trust me, it is sensational. When this person's boss lies about having COVID to get time off work to go on a reality TV show, she says no. I'm not having that. And as a result, she throws a watch party for the entire company of the first episode. Lie about having COVID to take 6 weeks off while I do your work for free. I'll throw an all-office party to announce where you really were. Mid-pandemic, my boss disappeared. Just as we were gearing up for our most challenging, time-intensive project in the last 5 years, he dropped off the face of the earth. We kept working for a week or so without him because everything was virtual and the virtual work world was still so new, we didn't really need him. We were delegating tasks ourselves and completing things on our own. We spoke to co-workers maybe twice a week. But some decisions were beyond our discretion, so we couldn't move forward on those aspects of the project until we received a response from him. After about 7 to 10 days of total silence, we called his boss's boss, who informed our team that our boss had COVID, so wasn't able to work right now. We took that at face value, and of course sent him letters of well wishes and didn't bother him with work stuff or ask why he was able to notify his boss, but not us. 3 weeks go by, still not a word. We're beginning to discuss amongst ourselves whether or not he's maybe died. We're terrified and horrified and so concerned. We're contemplating calling his extended family. We're sending flowers and care packages to his apartments. Meanwhile, the project has descended into chaos because no leader was appointed in our boss's stead. So we are forced to navigate several layers of bureaucracy in order to accomplish anything at all. Whereas in the past, he would have just signed off in real time. Around week 4 or 5, one of our co-workers suggests he doesn't really have COVID, but is instead using it as an excuse to take time off. We all jump all over our co-worker, asking how he could insinuate something like that, and lamenting about what a tragedy our boss is probably living through. People were chilly to him for days after that. Week 7. We're undertaking a letter-writing campaign to upper management, demanding an acting boss be appointed while ours is recovering. The project is a month behind schedule. We're all working overtime every day, sometimes on weekends, without extra compensation, just to keep up with the cluster F of the boss's sudden absence. Week 8. He finally reappears, logging into a morning meeting as though nothing happened. He looks well rested, well fed, and he has a tan. Not at all like someone who's just come out the other side of a 6-week respiratory virus. He says something quickly to the effect of, "Yeah, that was brutal. Glad to be better and glad to be back. Let's get to work." But he doesn't want to talk about what happened or answer any of our questions, like, were you in hospital? What was it like? Etc. Fast forward to about 4 or 5 months after this. My sister sends me a promo for a fairly new reality show. I'd never heard of it, but it's on a major platform, and says, "Isn't this guy a friend of yours or something? I swear I've seen him and you together." I watched the trailer for the show, and lo and behold, there's my boss, participating as a contestant on this reality TV show. It didn't take long for me to put the pieces together and realize that he took extended leave to go on TV, that he knew he wouldn't otherwise get during this massive project, and he lied about it under the guise of a vicious disease that nearly all of us had lost a loved one to. I sit and stew with this information, unsure of how to handle it. I know confronting him won't get me very far, but I can't just do nothing, right? I'm not close enough with any of my colleagues to discuss this with them and trust that they wouldn't run off and send an all-company email about it. So, I slept on it a few nights, and then the opportunity fell right into my lap. I got an email from corporate encouraging teams still working remotely to plan virtual social functions, to keep a collegial culture going, and to stay in touch. Among the suggestions were game night, trivia, and watch party. Oh my god, this is insane. With the premiere of the show only a couple weeks away, I got busy telling everyone how I'd been meaning to get into this show, and it's so enticing and exciting, basically laying the groundwork to guilt them into coming to an impromptu virtual watch party off hours. I offered to get special shirts made up and send them to each person's house, whatever I had to do to get the attention of corporates. Finally, I sent an evite to all my boss's bosses and any other members of corporate I could justify inviting without making a total butt of myself. Because this is entirely virtual, my boss is unable to overhear any of the chatter. He doesn't realize I'm hyping up the show, and he doesn't realize I've planned a watch party for it. I wasn't inviting him unless he had the balls to explicitly ask about it. I was hoping he wouldn't have heard about it at all, not until afterwards. That was really the only way this could work. The night comes, and I'm screen sharing the show to a whopping 64 people, a huge chunk of my department. Many members of corporate had showed up, because I was the only person stupid enough to buy into their virtual social work party scheme, so they felt pressure to support it. I was holding my breath, hoping this would go my way, bracing myself for some kind of curveball, but there wasn't even that dramatic of a build-up. Right at the outset, they introduced the premise, which included the contestants being in a COVID-safe bubble in an exotic location, and then gave a brief overview of each contestant. As my boss was introduced, right down to what he did for work, I could see people register delight and surprise, then go blank, just before sliding into confusion and rage. The chat took a drastic turn from "oh my goodness" and "I knew him when," etc., and all sorts of pithy jokes, until a brave member of my team, or perhaps one just pushed a tad too far by all the extra hours he pulled in this douche's absence, sent the message, "Wait, when was this filmed?" My audience dropped from 64 to 58 to mid-30s, and by the time the episode was over, it was just me and the other 15 core members of the team. One asked if I'd already known, but some members of the team are very close to the boss, so all I said was, "Well, I definitely do now," and we wrapped up the call pretty quickly after that. Perhaps one of the best bonuses is that you could already tell from episode 1 that the character arc the show assigned to our boss was bumbling idiot. He had his true colours on in full display and some production massaging up them to the 11th degree. My boss was, as you can imagine, fired. My good buddy was promoted to his place. I am an office legend now, especially since no one is 100% sure whether or not what I did was intentional. And it was all so satisfying that it was almost worth the dozens of hours of uncompensated overtime that led to it. Yep, no, there it is. That is hands down the best revenge story I think I've ever read in the entire history of my channel, which by the way is coming up on 3 years. That's it right there. How does it get better than that? Honestly. That story was incredible. Look, I don't even care that your boss is quite clearly one of the most stupid people to ever walk on this planet. I don't know how he ever thought he was going to get away with that. It's so obvious. You're on TV in front of millions of people. I mean, seriously. Words cannot explain how stupid that is. But to have a watch party, encouraged by corporate, knowing full well that your boss is going to be on the show you're watching, it's just delightful. It's so good. Listen, guys, comment down below. Is that the best revenge story that I've ever read on this channel? If you're a long-time subscriber and viewer of me, you'll know that I've read a lot of revenge stories. Listen, is that the best? Comment down below. I think it just might be. And now moving on to our second story of petty revenge. Campus R-word dropped ID card, so I maxed out his meal plan and bought people snacks. Then I cut the card in half. When I was in undergrad, a famous American singer's son went to my school. He was awful. He had a reputation for beating people up at parties and brutally R-ing women on campus. This guy and his brother were both arrested for assault a few years back. Some women came forward to testify against him, and his dad said in response, "Boys will be boys." His son was only suspended for a few months when he should have been expelled and never allowed back on campus. I never had classes with this guy, and I didn't know him personally, but I knew what he looked like, and I always steer clear. One day, I noticed he was walking in front of me, and he dropped his student ID card without noticing. Now, I'm not sure if all universities are like this, but our IDs also stored our meal plans, and you could purchase credit to put on the card to buy snacks at the school bodega. Anyway, I picked up his ID and went straight to the dining hall. I used up his entire meal plan buying food for every student I saw. To be honest, there was only like 7 meals left, but still. I used up all the credit he had on his ID card to buy food at the school bodega and gave it to classmates who couldn't afford meal plans. After I finished, I cut his card in half and threw it in the trash. Now, I know that was probably petty as anything, but it kind of felt really good considering all the effed up stuff he did to other people. Now look guys, I'm not going to say who this person is, but I fact checked the story and it definitely is legit. All the facts make sense and it all adds up with an article I just read. But yes, it is petty, but completely justified, obviously. Like, let's be realistic. You doing that is not what he deserves. He deserves far, far, far greater punishment than losing a few meals on his meal plan and his student ID being cut up. Yes, it's petty, but it's barely even touching the surface of what should happen to this bloke. And now moving on to our final story, just a little short one to finish. You're CCing everyone about my supposed cock-up? Fine. I'll reply all with my response. We recently launched a project to a select group of beta testers. Late on a Sunday evening, I'm not paid to be on call or work on weekends, I get an email from the boss, CCing everyone involved in the project that the entire site is down. Please can I get it sorted urgently as this makes the company look bad, complete with screenshot of the problem. Now I'm really glad for the screenshots. I didn't even need to open my laptop to see what the problem was. I'm mildly peeved at the tone of the email, and I don't think including everyone plus the janitor was really necessary. So I reply all to all, saying that the reason the boss is getting that error is because he has typed the wrong website into his browser. I get a sheepish mail from him the next day saying that no, it was actually one of the beta testers that had sent him the message about the website not working and the screenshots, and that he had just forwarded it on to me. And wasn't he glad it wasn't actually a problem? Sure, buddy. Yes, very petty, but I got a kick out of it. To be honest with you, I don't even know if that is that petty. To me, it just seems fair. Like, he sent you an email, a personal email, and then decided to @ everyone else in the company for no reason, and you just did the same. Karma, right? And ultimately, yeah, it was his mistake. You gotta call him out sometimes. I don't care if he's your boss. Sounds like a muppet. Call him out when he's being stupid. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/PettyRevenge. I really loved that first story, and I hope you guys did too. If you want to see some more stories like that, please do drop a like on this video and comment down below. The more interaction this video gets, the more likely I'm going to come back on this subreddit in future and try and find more stories like that one. If you want to see more straight away, check out this video here. Subscribe if you are new by clicking this button, and I'll see you all tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.